Alright, y'all already know the deal. It's December, so we gotta do an ice Pokemon. And next up, we have Beartic, which serves as a shining example of bear Pokemon generally having terrific designs. It evolves from one of the most adorable Pokemon in the game, Cubchoo, and is generally one of the best designs of the 5th generation, contributing significantly to the character of the Unova region. Also, it was the perfect menacing fit as Gym Leader Bryson's strongest Pokemon. Today, we'll be examining how Beartic fit in the competitive scene. And so, we ask, how good was Beartic actually? And in this video, we'll be going over these competitive formats. Here's a fun, surprising fact. Beartic was actually subject to one of the earliest bans in Generation 5 OU, when the metagame was among its most chaotic stages. Okay, that's not entirely accurate and more than a bit misleading, but it's still essentially true. The combination of Drizzle and Swift Swim was banned early on, and since one of Beartic's abilities was Swift Swim, it was not allowed to pair with Drizzle Politoed almost right from the beginning. Never mind that it shares this distinction with Magikarp. Beartic was not one of the Swift Swimmers that caused the ban either. Those would be the water types that took advantage of the boost to their already powerful stab moves, in addition to receiving a speed boost that launched them past pretty much everything, from Deoxys Speed to Choice Scarfers. Beartic possessed neither of these qualities. As a pure ice type, it did not have its stab boosted by rain, and though it did receive double speed, it was so naturally slow that even under rain, it was still outsped by pretty much every common Choice Scarfer. It didn't fit on Hail teams either, which already struggled and were appropriately rare even with better ice types like Kyurem, Mamoswine, and later Kyurem Black. Weather teams were really Beartic's only hope, as it certainly wasn't a good standalone Pokemon. Its natural bulk wasn't bad, but it had horrible speed and defensive typing, which was a shame because Beartic's offensive toolset was actually quite threatening, given its powerful stab Icicle Crash, excellent fighting type coverage and low kick or superpower, and good auxiliary options like Bulk Up and Taunt. Sadly, this was overshadowed by its abysmal defensive profile, which meant it lost to pretty much everything. Beartic was out of luck in UU and RU2, as manual Rain Dance teams similarly had no use for it, while Hail teams preferred Ice Body Pokemon, most famously Walrein, as well as Blizzard Spam, which Beartic did not possess the special attack stat for. Even in NU, Beartic couldn't find any sort of niche once again, as it stood no chance on manual Rain, and as a standalone Ice type, one was far better off using tier staples such as Regice, Piloswine, Rotom Frost. The latter two had useful secondary typing, and all three had much better overall stats. As such, Beartic was never used, even in the never used tier, and fell to untiered. And surprise, surprise, unlike so many flawed Pokemon which Game Freak passes over on a generational basis in equal parts cruelty and regularity, Beartic actually received a legitimate buff upon the release of XY, now able to significantly boost its attack with the excellent addition of Swords Dance. Now, the timing could have been better as the effects of weather abilities were no longer permanent, but the addition still generated some hype, as rain teams continued to see some use in OU, with Damp Rock extending the duration. Plus, even outside rain, Beartic could potentially put away would-be fire and rock-type revenge killers with a Swords Dance and Life Orb boosted Aqua Jet. Sadly, Beartic never took off. Even with the newfound existence of PU, it once again couldn't compete with Regice and Rotom Frost as a standalone ice type. Now, some thought it may have some potential on rain teams as a Swift Swimmer whose sweep would be unperturbed by grass types, but Beartic struggled to find switching opportunities too much to be used, resulting in another untiered placement. It was a shame because if Swords Dance and the PU tier had existed in Generation 5, it might have been a different story for Beartic. Sadly, it was left to watch other ice types succeed from the sidelines instead. Beartic got an amazing buff in Generation 7. Its already high base attack stat of 110 was boosted to a whopping 130, on par with a fellow ice type, the famously mighty Mamoswine. So surely it would tear up PU now, right? Well, in spite of this incredible buff, Generation 7 still managed to be particularly cruel to Beartic. In fact, giving such a boost only to crush its hopes so brutally could only be described as sadistic. PU even had a Abomasnow now, able to provide hail for Slush Rush. So surely Beartic would shine now, right? Well, no, because Generation 7 also added a new Slush Rush Pokemon, Alolan Sandslash, which outclassed Beartic entirely thanks to its higher speed, incredible half steel typing, and vast move pool. It was not only a better Slush Rush Pokemon, but a better overall Pokemon, able to fulfill a variety of roles on many different teams. Sure, Beartic was stronger, but that was all it had, and power isn't all that counts in Pokemon. Even in sweeping roles, Alolan Sandslash's various other attributes made it the better choice every single time. And well, that was fine and all if Alolan Sandslash was good, because surely it'd end up in a higher tier, right? Nope, it didn't even have the decency to ever stay out of PU. From day one, it was one of the tier's most definitive Pokemon, but it was never too good for the tier, leaving Beartic to watch from the sidelines once again. One might argue that Game Freak officially crossed the line with this, and we might agree. Generation 8's addition of heavy duty boots allowed Beartic to shed its crippling Stealth Rock weakness, which was great. This didn't solve all of Beartic's issues, but it gave it potential as a lower tier Slush Rush Pokemon. The problem? Generation 8 also added 2 new Slush Rush Pokemon, Arctozolt and Arctovish, which became the preeminent choices for such a role, thanks in part to their amazing secondary stabs, Bolt Beak, and Fish's Rend respectively. Furthermore, Aurora Veil was back and as dangerous as ever. Aurora Veil and stronger Slush Rushers ruled over NU's Hail offense, leaving no room for Beartic. And it couldn't even catch a break in PU, as Arctovish was there as well, abusing Hail and regularly Slush Rushing for upwards of 50 yards. However, slowly but surely things changed. NU struggled with Hail-based offense through much of the generation and attempted to solve the issue numerous times. Aurora Veil was banned, Arctozolt was banned, and then with Arctovish on the precipice of being banned itself, the problem was finally determined to be Hail itself. As such, Snow Warning was banned from NU, which also removed it from PU. As a result, Arctozolt and Aurora Veil returned to NU. But wait, you may wonder, wouldn't that be a death sentence for Beartic? Not quite, as things didn't stop there. Arctozolt was banned from UU, removing it from NU, while RU banned Light Clay. And with Arctozolt unavailable and Aurora Veil no longer being overwhelming when it couldn't have its duration extended by Light Clay, NU decided to unban Snow Warning, as the playstyle no longer packed broken strategies left and right. Of course, there was still one broken Pokemon under Hail, Arctovish, or there would be if NU hadn't also banned it as it had unbanned Snow Warning. Its ban in NU also removed Arctovish from PU, where Snow Warning was also reintroduced by virtue of no longer being banned from NU. With that monstrous chain of tiering action out of the way, we now come to the present day. To summarize, both NU and PU no longer have Arctovish and have Hail once again. As such, Beartic is finally poised to have some sort of impact in not one, but 2 tiers. Sure, Alolan Sandslash was present in both these tiers as well, but it no longer fully outclassed Beartic, who, no longer hindered by its Stealth Rock weakness, was now able to use its enormous attack stack to the fullest, and boy was it terrifying. It was much easier for it to set up when its good natural bulk wasn't ruined by rocks, and all 3 Hail setters, Abomasnow, Aurorus, and Vanillix, were able to set up Aurora Veil, quickly turning Beartic into one of the most threatening Pokemon in the tier with very little support. Beartic even found setup opportunity against something as strong as Sylveon, thanks to Throat Chop, which shut down Hyper Voice for 2 turns at a time. Beartic also packed an incredible advantage over Alolan Sandslash, as being able to run the fighting coverage of either Superpower or Low Kick let it hit ice-resistant water types much harder, and it absolutely destroys one of the most popular ice resists, Thick Fat Snorlax, which Alolan Sandslash can't dream of. Beartic actually enjoyed the presence of Alolan Sandslash, as the 2 could pair up to great effect, with one shattering the opponent's defensive core and the other cleaning up the pieces for a late game sweep. Beartic didn't even need a turn of setup necessarily. Its Choice Band set packed brutal instantaneous power, ripping through opposing teams without wasting its precious turns of doubled speed under Hail. It was so dangerous it was worth taking rocks if its teammates couldn't prevent or clear them, as switching into it was just that nightmarish. The band set even allowed Beartic room to run another powerful new water type coverage in Liquidation, letting it instantly destroy Pokemon like Talonflame. Another massive advantage of Beartic is that it absolutely crushed sand teams, providing a critical advantage against potential roadblocks to Hail abuse. Beartic's advantages were similarly valuable in PU. Superpower let it absolutely destroy Scrafty, Ferroseed, and Regirock, and its ability to so thoroughly destroy sand teams was absolutely enormous. At the time of this video, Beartic is gaining more and more recognition for its traits in NU and PU. It was thought to have some potential at first, but it's quickly showing that it's not just a gimmick you might want to use. It's legitimately one of the most powerful Pokemon in both tiers. At long last, the stars have aligned for Beartic to show what it can do, and it is making the most of this opportunity and then some. Keep an eye on NU and PU now and in the near future, as there's nothing quite like the sight of Beartic being such a devastating force. And that's it. So how good was Beartic actually? Well, it was cruelly passed over for its first 3 generations of existence, and Generation 8 looked to follow in that pattern. But after a complex series of unbans, bans, and general tier shakeups, it has finally been given the opportunity to show how monstrous it can be. An opportunity it is taking advantage of right now in not 1, but 2 tiers. Thank goodness, as it would have shattered our hearts to have to title this video How Bad Was Beartic Actually? But fortunately, Beartic is thriving now, and we look forward to seeing it continue to do so in the future. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, if you liked the video and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to Fall Swipe Gaming for more weekly Pokemon content. And in the comments, I want to know, what do you think about competitive Beartic? How would you buff it even more to maybe have it stand up in RU? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments. Also, thank you so much to our patrons for continued support of our videos, and thank you to everyone else watching as well. And follow my crew on these social media platforms. And that's all I got. See you next time, everyone.